What is up, Metalheads? Today we are going to go over how to properly clean your paintbrush, okay? This is something that we cover in all of our beginner classes because it's just something very important to know. Whether you have an expensive brush, such as this Winsor Newton Series 7, or if you have a cheap brush, the same is true across the board, that if you take care of the brush takes care of you, okay? It's very important to keep your brushes clean, at least every so often, every few paint sessions. If you paint very heavily, about 8 to 10 hours a day, and you're a full-time commission painter like myself, then there are times you're going to have to clean your brushes every day or every other day, depending on what you're using, okay? So what we're going to do is I am going to start by showing you how to do it with liquid soap. And then I will show you how to do it with a harder soap, such as the Master Series brush cleaner and other type of bar soaps that there are for brushes, okay? So, Mona Lisa pink soap is really good. If you don't have this kind of liquid soap or something similar, you can use Dawn dish soap as well. That is perfectly acceptable, okay? So, with this one, you don't want to get bigger than this 8-ounce bottle. They have one that's like a really big bulk size, and if you get that, you might as well stick it in your will for the next 10 generations, because there's no way that you're going to really use that much soap. I can't even tell you, and not as a regular, you know, on the side kind of hobbyist anyway. So anyways, what you do is you start by putting a drop on your finger there, alright? So I got a drop here, that's all I got. And you want to make sure that you use lukewarm water. I can't stress this enough, okay? Lukewarm water, because if the water's too hot, there's glue in between here. This is called a ferrule, and here's your bristles, and then here's your handle, right? So there's glue in between these bristles and this handle. And the ferrule is what's holding them together. If the water's too hot, it'll melt the glue and the bristles will fall out. And if you use too cold, then whatever paint and residue is inside here in the ferrule is going to harden and make the bristles split. So both of which are things that you don't want when you spent your hard-earned money on something like a good brush, right? So when you work the soap in, you want to make sure to go in upward strokes. And the reason why you want to do that is because you want to help the brush keep its point. That's also very important and helps the brush last longer and keeps you having nice paint jobs, or helps you in that, okay? So you just work it in there, upward strokes like that, okay? There's soap in there. You might see a little bit of suds there. I'm not sure how well you can see it with the camera, but just in case, here's a close-up. And then you have the water lukewarm. If you're not familiar with what temperature lukewarm is, it's about 60 to 70 degrees, room temperature, if you will. So then you rinse the brush, again, working it, upward strokes, help it keep its point. And then once you have that, then you put it down to air dry. You let the brush air dry. Some people have hangers that they use for the brushes where they hang them upside down, or, you know, right side up or whatever. And if you have that, that's okay too. But, you know, I usually just lay them flat to dry, and that usually works for me. Now, here is a bar type soap. Master's Brush Cleaner is one of the most popular. It's one of the ones you'll see the most. There are other companies that make bar kind of soap. There is, I believe Games and Gears has one, and also Slow Fuse Gaming has one called Brush Goop, if I'm not mistaken. And these brush cleaners all tend to have not just soap in them, but conditioners as well. And so when you use this kind of soap, you want to make sure, one thing that I see a lot of people make the mistake of doing is they take their bristles and they really just work it in there. And that's something you don't want to do, because it can eventually make the bristles split. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that your brush is nice and wet so that it can pick up some of that soap, okay? So it's nice and wet. And then you just want to kind of very gently work it in, like act like you're kind of painting it. Or if you have like the flat bar soap, because I can't really do it with the way that this is in a container, but you can like work it little circles just to kind of pick up some of the soap. But just whatever you do, don't squish it in there, because that's just not going to do you any favors, okay? Either act like you're painting it, or just kind of work in teeny tiny circles like this to pick up some of that soap. And you see how I picked up some soap there, all right? And again, you want to do upward strokes. Help the brush keep its point, like that, like so. Then you have your lukewarm water running so that you can rinse it. And then you rinse your brush, work it in, work it in. Now I probably have the most cleanest Winsor Newton brush on the block, okay? And then if you have to, you can even shake a little bit to get the excess water off, but you just want to make sure that you help it maintain its point. See that? That's important. All right? And then again, lay flat and let it dry. Okay? So, if you have questions, you can write it in the comments below. Feel free to email us at mhmpropainting@gmail.com. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check us out on the web at www.metalheadminis.com. Stay crispy and milk. Have yourselves a good day.